Good morning and welcome, and just sage it is, well, Palo Santo, and I'm placing all the power of the universe to come through this reading, and I'm calling in Archangel Michael and his blue ray and shield of protection. I'm calling in my guardian angels, my ascended masters that walk with me daily, and all the light beings of the highest love and light only. And I'm doing this, and I'm going to do this every reading because it's a form of protection. And you know, me being a light worker, twin flame, I felt quite attacked recently, but I should be used to this, you know, because 8 years on this journey, yeah, I've talked about it on my other videos that, you know, you can get attacks from, you know, the psychic attacks, also, you know, your karmic, what's the word? Your karmic baggage, you know, that you have to release, can feel pretty heavy, but feels more like it's coming from the darker, lower energies of this path. And yes, we all have karma, and we all have excuse me, and we all have yeah, they're saying they're trying to stop me from speaking the truth. Throat chakra. Yeah. Just hold the lapis lazuli. So if you follow me, you'll know that my content is a lot of everything. Spiritually, it's all of what I've learned and been taught myself by other spiritual teachers. You know, along my 8 years of spiritual awakening, twin flame awakening. It's one of the hardest paths, apparently. I can't speak for others, but my path's been a walk in the park, you know. So I'm just going to place this on my throat chakra, because they're trying to, the powers that be, the lower energies of this matrix, shall we say, what we live in as humans, the ones that have done the work and the ones that can see beyond the illusion of the matrix can also see and feel the lower energies and spiritual warfare. Let's just cut to the chase for it. Spiritual warfare and the lower entities and energies that come along with that. So yeah, I'm feeling that pretty strongly, and I've got other light worker friends that are feeling the same. And you know, this can come in many forms. So it can be psychic attacks, so messing with your mind, you know, so putting thoughts, negative loops back there, what you've already healed, you can find yourself back there again. So placing, yeah, implanting, they're saying, not placing, implanting thoughts into your mind, you know, your ego mind, what you've already healed, balanced, yeah, you can be thrown back into that loop again, which it's done. I'm not gonna lie, it's done that to me this last week, because the energy is so fierce, they're saying. Yeah, the ramping up, because the light that twin flames, light seeds, way showers, 144 hold. They know, you know, it's they know it's game over. You just look around the planet, look online, that light is shining right through now. So the darker spiritual warfare, the darker energies, they're ramping up. They're scared. We've got them scared. You know, that word scared can also make sacred, which, you know, they change sacred to scared. Why do you think they do that? It's to keep us in that illusion, to keep us underneath that umbrella, you know, that matrix, to keep us conformed to what they only want us to know and find find is the key, you know, because once you start doing this journey and you start finding layers of yourself, you give your light, expose the matrix for all what it is. And it's an illusion. Everything is. So it's also an illusion that they can hold us under this matrix, you know, anymore as well. And I had to remind myself of that, and my spirit guides came through loud and clear this morning during meditation. My Lemurian mothers came through, did a meditation. So still got a block on my foot, still going to hold the lapis lazuli there. So after meditation, or during meditation, the words nature, sound of nature came through to me. Now I know what they mean by this, and they want me to get a card now. So I'm going to go for my Beyond Lemuria, because that was what I was drawn to this morning for meditation. And there's no coincidences. What you're drawn to, there's messages in there for you. Your spirit team, your spirit guides, your angels. Wow, look at that, just split the pack. Fed and feathered friends. Talk about nature. Yeah, nature's coming out loud and clear for me. And because, you know, we've been attacked by the lower parts of this journey. They want us out in nature. Now, what happens when you go out in nature? It's healing. Very healing for our chakra system. Our rainbow bridge. There's 2 cards. Wow, speaking this morning. Right, that's it, they're saying. No, one more. One more. One more. So yeah, nature, they're saying. So I've done, if you follow me, you'll know that I automatic write. Also, yeah, look at that, how that flipped out. Root chakra. Can't make this stuff up. Look at that, root chakra. Now you don't get any more grounding than nature. You know, when you get your feet on that earth, when you yeah, bare feet, they're saying. Bare feet. You know, we never used to have shoes anyway. Let's go back to the old ways. Bare feet, they're saying. When you ground into Mother Nature, into Mother Earth, yeah, that's healing. That's very, very healing for all our system. You know, nervous system also. Nervous system came through to me. Also, so it's nature and nervous system. So I'm going to read the automatic writing now. Now they're saying that's enough of the cards. So my automatic writing, nature, parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, helps us calm and relax our body, brings us into the now. Yeah, you know, Eckhart Tolle, I don't know if I've got that book down here. I've been cleaning also because I've felt the urge to clean. Although I've been really exhausted this last week or two because of the psychic attacks, and I can feel, you know, them revving up. You know, because I've had it many times on my twin flame journey, spiritual awakening, not just twin flame. We're many, you know, we're multidimensional beings, so we have many facets to us. But I speak of the twin flame because that's one of my knowings that's returned to me, you know, past life. But yeah, you know, the nervous system gets attacked. You know, when they psychically attack us, then our nervous system goes into that fight and flight mode. You know, so all that I've been healing, and you know, as grounded as I was before this attack, starts to work through my system, you know, my nervous system, and starts to unbalance me. So they're saying, you know, nature, so good for the nervous system. and it's that parasympathetic rest and digest it brings us into. So it helps us calm and relax our body, brings us into the now, takes us out of our monkey mind. I wrote, yeah, you know, that monkey mind, that chatter, that doubt. Now if you're a twin flame, part of the journey is doubting the journey, because let's face it, if you're a twin flame, you know that it's not of the normal. Also, you know, light seeds, light workers, whatever you may be on your spiritual journey, it's not of the normal. So it's going to put your nervous system into fight and flight. But the saying, you know, to conquer the attacks from the matrix, the matrix, what we live in as humans, which is all an illusion. The saying to get out in nature, sunlight, you know, endorphins, feel good, lifts the mood. So the saying, morning sunlight especially, get your feet on the ground. I've been doing that as well. I've been walking outside after cleaning my garden, because I've got a little husky who needs a lot of room to play, you know, because when my nervous system is attacked and I'm exhausted to the point of, because I feel the collectives also, so the matrix attacking the collective, I feel that, you know, so I absorb that. So it's heavy, you know, so I'm not just absorbing mine and feeling the attacks from the spiritual warfare my side. No, I'm holding that for the collective. That's what light workers do, light seeds, twin flames. We hold the light for the collective, but, you know, for ourselves, our family, our friends. Yeah, it's what we're here for, to hold that light. So the same sunlight, endorphins, feel good, lifts our mood. It'll combat the attack from the matrix. So yeah, those attacks can come in many forms, and I'm online obviously because my spirit team guided me to come online and share globally all what I've been healing and how I healed my 7 chakras, the rainbow bridge, and, you know, how I started to ground that energy, anchor it into Mother Earth, not just be up in the 5D, you know, because when you start spiritually awakening, you can be all in 5D, and all in the spiritual, especially if you're divine feminine in the twin flame. That's what we are. We're intuitive, we're connection source, we're the ones that are guiding this connection, but can get a bit too much, you know. My nervous system went into overdrive, so I had to learn about grounding, and I couldn't get outside sometimes because of my nervous system being in fight and flight. So I brought outside inside. So I brought nature inside my home. I brought plants inside my home. I brought a grounding mat inside my home. You know, there's electrons. So I'll ground 40 minutes a day on my grounding mat, but I've not done that this week. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been too exhausted. The energies have been too much. And I know why. Because some twin flames are at the finish line. Can't speak for all, but I feel like I'm at, me and my twin flame, we're at the finish line, you know. We're in a union. I've reached the inner union, surrender stage. So after that comes union in the connection. But, you know, first we have to anchor that into earth. And, you know, more healing to be done, but not far. I can feel it. Me and my twin flame are already in union, but because of the energies and the shifts that are occurring and the attacks on our nervous system, not just mine, my twins also, yeah, it sends us into isolation again, you know, to do more healing. does not mean to say that there's nothing happening beyond, you know, what you can see. No, I can feel it. 8 years on this journey, and I know this journey now, you know, but still, I still have to learn. Sometimes I need to ground, and more healing to be done, you know. Yeah, so there's a lot going on, as you can probably hear in my energy. They're saying ground, Ellie. Ground. And for grounding, perfect crystal. Show me the crystals after this, Spirit. Tiger's Eye. Perfect grounding stone. Also brings you into your power, you know. Brings you back into yeah, determination, your power. Tiger's Eye is brilliant, very, very strong, brings your strength in, yeah. So Tiger's Eye, if you can't get out of the house, and I completely understand that, if you're just waking up, or if you're just halfway through your spiritual awakening, or even if you're at the end of it, you know, although the student is the master, they've told me this many times, the master is always the student. So, you know, like I spoke about my spiritual toolkit, yes, I will bring out my tools. So my tools being crystals, my tools being meditation, my tools calling on my angels, you know, to bring in more protection when I feel it amping up from the lower parts of this journey and the matrix. Yeah, they're all good, they're brilliant, but you know, the true healing comes when we move these emotions through our body, and these are tools to help us, you know, move our emotions out of the body and ground, and yeah, like the throat chakra. I had a bit of a cough this morning, and that's blocking my throat chakra, because I understand energy, you know, and I know that I'm not getting a cold. I know it's they're getting this message across that they're trying to stop us from speaking our truth. But yeah, it's game over, because there's many speaking their truth now. You just have to look around, because the time is now, you know, for us to unearth this truth, the matrix, everything that's been hidden from us, and also to speak this truth. So that's what they're trying to stop us to do. But that's why they send people, family, friends. That's why they work through your family, friends, the matrix. They will do anything. Their agenda is, it's dark, you know. It's not a nice agenda, obviously. You know, they're keeping that truth from us, from finding our light. That's not a nice agenda, is it? And it's because it's control and it's power. Because if you find your light and you find your truth and you bring that truth to the collective and others, then it creates that ripple. Then what happens to the matrix? It crumbles. So then that power crumbles. Well, spirit. Yeah, it all crumbles. And then what happens? Then we all find our grounding, don't we? We all anchor into the truth. Yeah, and found our connection source also, which is beautiful crystal. Wow, crystals are flying out today. So amethyst, connection source, our third eye, our intuition. Beautiful crystal. But you know, I work with amethyst. I've got a beautiful heart crystal, so it's in the shape of a heart, because you know, our hearts also, I've done a reading on amethyst heart. We've all got crystalline hearts. We're crystal. That's what we are. But the matrix doesn't want us to know that. No, they want to keep us in that lower density energy. They don't want us to know that we are crystalline beings. But, you know, it's too late, matrix. Good try, but you've kept us under the matrix far too long. So yeah, so they're saying breathwork, walking, which I'm about to take a walk. I was about to take a walk before I came on and did this reading, but you know, channeling comes through when it comes through, and I know why they want me to get this reading out also, because I'm taking a walk to my tree, Now you might think, oh no, not a tree hugger, you know, because some people, they do, don't they? I've had this off my family and friends. You're going to start hugging trees soon. Yeah, damn right I am. Trees, wow, the energy you get from them. Of course I'm going to hug a tree. In fact, a few years ago, Spirit guided me down a different route. Hence why, you know, twin flame journey. Yeah, that's a completely different route to what I was used to. But they said get off the bus and walk the rest of the way home from where I used to work. So 2 weeks before, also the oracle in me, I have visions. So I used to call them precognition. Now I know it's all clairaudience, clairsentience coming online because of my connection to source. I know that, but I used to call it precognition, and it was visions coming to me prior to me experiencing these visions. I've done it many times, so I know it's not a fluke, you know. And one of those times was I was working. I'd just finished the Reiki session where I was working, and they told me get off the bus and take a walk. And 2 weeks before, I'd had a vision that they was going to send me to find this tree. Now, I didn't know of any trees around the area I live in. So I was like, well, how am I going to find this tree? You know, that was during meditation 2 weeks before. And then 2 weeks later, coming back from work, and they said, get off and walk. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I walked down the track. Usually I'd go the roadway, but they wanted me to go down the track, you know, the greenery and all of that. And I'd walked this way before, but I'd not noticed one particular tree just on its own, the whole route, which is about an hour of a track, you know, alongside other things. But I'd not noticed this tree. I was meant to notice this tree this day, and I call it my tree now because the minute I touched that tree, my elemental light codes started to ooze out of me. So I was on, you know, it's quite an isolating track as well. So I just let them go, you know. I was like, and that's what elemental light codes can sound like. The real joyful and happy, and yeah, it was probably the first time I experienced the elemental light codes coming through. I'd done, you know, Lemuria and other light codes had come through. Lemuria, definitely. Lemuria is one of the most remembrances of any of my past lives from the beginning of my awakening, my twin flame awakening. Lemuria, very, very much so. But yeah, these light codes, like real giddy light codes, all that, like, you know, started just coming out of me. So I just let it go, you know. Nobody was around because, yeah, you know, some people will be like, what is she doing? She's, you know, yeah. But no, just felt so good to just hug that tree. So I'm going back to it today. It's been a while. I went back not long back, but there was white men, and it was all shut off. So, you know, that to me, it's a sign from spirit. I wasn't meant to go that day. There's things that happen on your path that you might think is a wall, but it's protection also, you know. So I say God's rejection is protection, you know. Spirit's protecting us. So I knew I wasn't meant to go there that day. So today I am. And I know also they want me doing this reading and talking about nature and the nervous system and the birds also. So the sound of nature. Soundscapes, you know, that we can find online if you can get outside. So bringing nature inside the house, they're saying, because they know that the spiritual awakening can cause fatigue, aches, and like ascension, flu symptoms, runny nose, you know, you're detoxing, you're purging, there's energy shifts happening all of the time. We're being, you know, solar energy, sun, all of that is coming towards us. So it's all affecting us. So they're saying, yeah, bring nature inside. If you can't get outside, bring nature inside. So grounding mat, plants, meditation with birds, sounds of birds, you know, frequency. The same, bring it inside, but try to get out in nature. You know, you can't beat the real thing, but they understand that the spiritual awakening does cause us to want to lock ourselves away. Also, isolation. I was like it for many years, you know. So I went from a social person to not wanting to go out anymore and isolate, and that was because of the healing. They wanted me in this healing phase of isolation, because in the isolation, that's the deepest healing. You know, you've not got that external noise coming in at you. And yeah, that means being took away from your family and your friends and all you've ever known before. Yeah, that's all going to crumble. But it doesn't mean to say it's not going to return. It just means for this time where you're working through your rainbow bridge, your connection from earth to heaven. That's your rainbow bridge, your 7 chakras. We've got many more, but the rainbow bridge, the 7 chakras. Yeah, they want you in that healing stillness, you know. That's the deepest healing you will find when you go into isolation. Yes, it's lonely, but you're not going to stay there forever. And I can vouch for that, you know. I thought I would be in it forever, but I also knew that this path was leading me to yeah, you know, friends. Yeah, it says on here, feathered friends. Yeah, I found a little feathered friend. Fairy friend. Yeah, I've got a fairy friend. My little Luna, my husky pup, 5 months old, was sent. They said, we're sending Luna to you all. And I was like, oh, it's Luna? And then my little husky pup with angel wings. And funnily enough, one of my healer friends was down the other week. She's feeling the energies too, you know. And we're going to come online tomorrow, and we're going to talk about our experiences and our spiritual awakening, and we're just going to let it flow. So it's going to be free flow, no automatic writing, or the same. There could be with me. I can't speak for my friend because she channels differently to me. So there could be a bit of automatic writing, but free flow. Authentic, you know, the realness of this journey, because it's not all butterflies and unicorns, and no, it's not. But it's not all dark neither, you know. And along the way you found friends, and you found fairy friends, and mine was my little husky. And yeah, also I found my light worker friend. Just looking at this picture, she reminds me of her. Beautiful energy. Also, one of her remembrances, I don't think she'll mind me saying, was Lemuria, and this is where we know each other from. Also, another precognition was I was going to meet this lady a few months before I met this lady. You know, those golden nuggets, spirit was guiding me, leaving for me. So now we're friends, and that's what I mean. You might have times of isolation on this path. Well, not might, you will. Yeah. But in that isolation, that's your healing. You know, when you're on your own, you find your strength. And that's what they're building you up for, to be so strong. Because when you are ready to share this knowledge, the 8 years of healing, and a lot more before that in my human experience, but my awakening 8 years, when you are ready finally to share this light with others and speak the truth about the matrix and the illusion of the matrix and the power and the control that's been going on to hold us in that illusion, then yeah, you know, that's when you find your friends, your tribe, your soul tribe. I'm finding my soul tribe now because I know that I'm out of this isolation period, and I've spoke to many of light workers, light seeds, twin flames, and that they're the same, you know. There was like, it's been so lonely, but it's not always going to be like that. You will find your soul tribe. And, you know, I could possibly be your soul tribe if you're finding this reading, and my friend also tomorrow. So, yeah, catch the free flow reading tomorrow, because we're just going to let it, yeah, just going to let spirit take over, like to do. So yeah, the saying, breath work, walking, nature, grounding, sounds of birds, frequency, they're all to raise our vibration. It's all about raising that vibration and keeping it there. Also, good foods, you know, vitamins, B vitamins, omega-3, salmon, eggs. My son has been eating eggs like they're going out of fashion. And he must be feeling that he needs eggs, you know, because your body tells you what it needs. And my son's spiritually awake, you know. So he's been guided to eat these eggs. And he's eating them daily. And he's feeling better. I mean, and eggs, they're full of vitamins, aren't they? I mean, my mum used to say, eat an egg. And I'd be like, an egg? Yeah, it's got 21 vitamins and minerals and all that lot in that you need. And yeah, my son I'm thinking of getting a chicken because we're running out of eggs. But you know, if that's helping him, and that's helping him with his health, because his health's been attacked also during his spiritual awakening, yeah, he's moving emotions out of his body, you know, so he's unearthing not just this life, but past lives. So I know it's heavy work that is facing, because I've walked this path, and I'm still on this path. Still got lots of healing to do myself, but I'm at the stage where I am now the master. I can teach others, and I can talk about my journey. But I'm always the student, so I'm always doing courses behind the scene. You know, I'm always doing webinars. I'm always adding to my spiritual toolkit for my healing. It's constant. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it there, but that's the saying, get out in nature. You can't beat the real thing. And yeah, nervous system was coming through. Our nervous systems will be better for getting out in nature, grounding, eating healthy, drinking clean, filtered, you know, waters. Yeah, it's going to stop. It's going to stop those attacks from the lower parts of the spiritual awakening, the matrix. It's gonna put a wall up to them. Is that it, spirit? Magnesium, saying also potassium, vitamin C and D. I think that's it. Oh, let's have a look. No, yeah. Oh, water again. Water, baths. Yeah, water. The ocean, waves. Yeah, tree hugging also. I wrote that in my automatic writing, and I put, yes, I know it sounds quite hippie-ish, you know, but it really does help calm our body and our mind. And I wrote, I'm off to my tree today. I found a few years back, and I will have elemental coats to come online to share. Yeah, I can see that coming, you know. That's why they're sending me to my tree to pick these codes, quantum codes, that will return to me just by me putting my hands on this tree. Yeah, can feel it, can see it. That oracle in me, high priestess of the rose, you know, that's part of the multidimensional fractals that have returned to me. So we're many, we're not just one, you know, we exist in yeah, different dimensions, all of that. As quantum as that sounds, and I know it does to some people, and I'm still learning more about that side of things also. And my friend Chrissy, she's taught me about the multidimensional, you know, side of this journey. So we all find our friends, whether they're fairy or feathered and light worker, when we're meant to. But we also have to have that isolation of healing and finding ourselves on this journey. But sooner or later, your soul tribe does come up, you know. And that means animals also, not just the ones in human form, light beings. Animals also. So I'm going to leave it there. And eko sotoyo no ya e oshotoye e ok osomono e ane ok oshotono e amake ono sotoyo no elamaria ik omana. Bit of Lemurian there for you. And I shall speak to you later after I've had my nature walk with my little husky with angel wings. Yeah, and that's what my friend said the other week. I got off the track, didn't I? I've always said she's my little pup with angel wings, but I've never told this to my friend. And my friend was down having a Reiki session the other week, trying to calm her nervous system with all this energy and the attacks going on in the matrix to us light workers. And she saw my little pup and she was like, she's got wings on her back. And I was like, whoa, I'm not the only one that thinks that way. And then my son also, he mentioned it to me after I'd said my friend had mentioned it. I said, I told you she's got angel wings. I'm telling you, I know why she was sent to us. And my son said, well, I was going to say the same the other week, but I didn't want you getting on about angels again, Mum, because you do go on about them a lot. So I was like, but why didn't you say it? He said, well, I didn't want to start you off on the angel spiel that I give him, because, you know, he's more in the matrix. He's still under that illusion, whereas my other son, he's not. He's spiritually awakening. But yeah, this son is like, we speak about angels all the time and they're not even real. I'm like, yeah, but they are real, and when you start awakening, you'll start realising. So he didn't want me to say, he didn't want me to get off on, you know, the spiritual talk and all of that. And I understand that, you know, because it's strange when you're not awake and you hear people that are awake speaking of angels and high ascended masters and all of that, and visions and things, you know, that he's seen me mention, and then he's seen happen as well. He's seen more and more for himself now, but he's still, you know, still in that matrix, and that's his choice. That's up to him. I'm on my path, he's on his, and you know that's like the world, you know. Some will be awakening, some won't. It's your soul path. Everyone's unique. So I'm going to leave it there. It's 38 minutes, and yeah, I'm going to be back on later. I've also got part 2 to do of the dancing on my own song, and that ended at the tango. So a fiery dance between two bodies but one soul. Yeah, cosmic dance of the twin flames. Yeah, so I'm going to be back on for that today also. Spirit's having me pretty busy today, but I feel a bit more energised than I did yesterday. I slept half of the day yesterday. And you know, that's another thing Spirit's saying, when you need to rest, rest. Don't feel guilty for taking that rest. Our nervous systems are under a lot of stress at the moment, you know, and I fight rest sometimes because of all the years of healing my chakras and the pace I've had to go at for healing. I have to remind myself that rest is healing also. So I do a rest now, and I did yesterday, half the day, but today I feel a bit more energised for that rest. So yeah, I'm more grounded as well. So ground, and I shall speak to you all later. Bye.